you go. Hi, my name is Kathy Lantry, and I'm president of the St. Paul City Council, and I also represent this area. And I want to first of all welcome all of you to Sunray Library, to our grand reopening. I know, isn't it something? And before I forget, you know, an effort like this seems like it all just comes together, but there is a lot to do when you're putting a library back together, and to have an event of today's scale required a ton of volunteers. And so we want to make sure and stop for 2 seconds, and all the people who have on black vests are our volunteers who helped with everything, getting the library ready for today, so let's thank them very much. This library was originally constructed in 1970, and there's 2 reasons why I know that. First, it was in our briefing materials, but more importantly, I remember being here on opening day, because this is my home library as well. Now, the details of the grand opening, I'm sure we didn't have, you know, anybody from Harding doing a marching band or anything. I remember it being sort of a buzz with activity. But most of my memories about Sunray Library have to do with the inordinate amount of time that I spent here. And for those of you who remember this library back in the good old days, back in the corner there was an area that we affectionately called the pit, which was sort of a sunken staircase. And when the library was built, it was really, that was done so that it really encouraged kids to come in and sit on the stairs and lounge around and read. Now, one of the things that changed tremendously from when the library opened till when we used it all the time is there was no talking. In fact, when I come in, every time I come into this library, I'm sure Mrs. Wilcox is going to come out from somewhere and say, "That's enough, Miss Lantry." So now libraries have changed tremendously in how they're used. And I was thinking about, as I was driving over here, I've never lived more than about 1.5 miles away from this library. I've only lived in 5 houses in my entire life. They've all been on the east side, of course. But proximity to the library, this has always been a hub. And even though libraries have changed tremendously in how we use them, there are still lots and lots of things about libraries that have stayed the same. You can still come here and check out books, but you might be able to download them now instead. You can come and do research, but now it's probably on a computer. It's not quiet anymore here, and it's not supposed to be. We use libraries differently. There is tutoring help. There's tax help. All of that requires a community to make it happen. And I also think that you know, like so many things, whether it's in your personal life and certainly government, we have this tendency to do things the way we've always done them because sometimes that's just easier. But we haven't done that in libraries, and I think that is a testament to the leadership by some really key people, certainly the administration, Mayor Coleman, and Kid Hadley, our library director, and certainly the library board members who have made libraries a priority. But also part of that are the Friends of the Library. Peter Pearson is going to speak later, and I want to be sure that we thank them. It's a private group who fundraises for the library. They don't let us become complacent. They push us to be better. It would be so easy to, you know, the library functions just fine. You don't need new carpet to have people check out books. But they have pushed us to do things differently. And I really appreciate their leadership. And I'm hoping that the next 40 years, this gem of the neighborhood will continue to serve us all so well. So thanks to everybody for coming, and welcome, and come back as often as you like. Thank you. And so the way libraries are put together is it requires money. And so, you know, a little civics fact here that you can't find on the internet, hopefully, is that the city council or the library board cannot generate a budget amendment. So the funding for this project has to come from the administration. And Mayor Coleman has been incredibly supportive of libraries. So we get a chance to hear from him, and thank you very much. So, Mayor Coleman.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. What a fantastic day. The good news is that we're open after a long stretch of renovation and creating great new space. The bad news is we're going to have to close for a couple of weeks after today because everybody's taking all the material out the doors, and we're going to have to have a couple of weeks of restocking. It really is. It's one of the great joys to come into a library and see kids walking out with stacks of books under their arms, some videos or whatever they're taking home. But the fact that they've come into this place, the fact that they realize the resource that they have here, and the fact that we are celebrating this incredible renovation of this facility. Kathy mentioned that libraries have changed greatly since 1970. Think about not only how libraries have changed, but how we've changed as a community. In 1970, when this facility opened, we were still 5 or 6 years away from the first Hmong immigrant to come to the state of Minnesota and to the city of St. Paul. We were decades away from the first East African wave of immigrants coming into this community. And now who we serve, think about the Karen that are now in our community that most of us hadn't heard of before until very recently. Now are a central part of our community. They're in our libraries, they're in our parks, they're in our schools, and they are like every other wave of immigration that has occurred before it. Finding a home in the library, finding an opportunity in the library, finding resources in the library so that they can learn, that they can do well in school, that they can do well in life. And now it's become more important for the adults so that they now have a place where they can come and help find an online resource to find a job. Libraries are fundamentally different. And so what we celebrate here today is that we continue to commit to have libraries be a central gathering place for our community. We commit to the fact that our library system is as fundamental to the city of St. Paul as any other aspect of it, with the possible exception of filling potholes. If the weather forecast is correct for this weekend, we're going to hear a lot about snow plowing and potholes fairly soon. But it's much funner to talk about libraries and to talk about what's going on here. Think about the amount of resources that have gone in to recreate this facility. But think about what is going to happen here. 1.2 million users, or there were 1.2 million uses of the library's mobile application, which didn't even exist as recently as 4 years ago. That is how dramatically and quickly things are changing, and we have to keep up on top of it. One of the things that is critically important to any library success is having a great leader. And we are very, very fortunate that we have had an unbelievable leader in our library director, Kit Hadley, and I just want to give Kit a round of applause and congratulations. So after we restock, we will have DVDs, we're going to continue to have books, we're going to continue to have magazines. More importantly, we're going to have library staff that will welcome you, that will assist you, that will direct you, that will provide the same quality of services that we've always had, but we'll do it in a new 21st century way. This library is visible, it's welcoming. It features an additional 2,500 square feet of interior public space. The children's area has more and better space for children and families. The interactive wall and reading alcove support early literacy by encouraging families to read together. Sunray offers story time in English, Spanish, and orientation for Karen-speaking families. Today's libraries users need internet access and flexible spaces for studying, meeting, and programs. Sunray has high-speed Wi-Fi, many plugins for mobile devices, and more internet stations than ever before. The movable walls in the meeting rooms and movable furniture allow space to change throughout the day to fit users' needs. Today's library users will still appreciate a quiet place to read, and there's an enclosed reading room as well as a reading garden. Teens have a larger space in the new library. The Create Tech program will give teens the chance to experiment with technology and other maker activities. A young mentors group with area teens is meeting in the library's community room every Thursday night. The library's Learning Lab will offer classes and drop-in help for people to hone their computer skills, look for jobs, or get help with their resume. Sunray provides digital resources to meet today's needs. Cardholders can check out e-readers and select from thousands of ebooks in the 3M Cloud Library. The library has free online homework help and programs to learn how to build a website or mobile app, learn a new language, or practice for SATs or even a driver's test. There's so much more, and I could go on, but mostly I'm here to say welcome to this new facility and to thank those that made it possible. Kathy's already mentioned Peter Pearson from the Friends of the Library, the City Council and Kathy's leadership, instrumental in continuing to make libraries a central gathering place for the City of St. Paul. But at the end of the day, we couldn't do any of this without our great community partners. We're very, very blessed to have, among those, 3M. I remember having a conversation with the former head of 3M, George Buckley, and he had been primed pretty well to give a major gift to this campaign. But when I spoke to George, he understood fundamentally and instinctually the importance of libraries. And so even though it was a big ask, it wasn't a hard ask because he understood that libraries were as important to the future of his company as they are to the rest of the city of St. Paul. So to 3M, thank you for your leadership and thank you for your support. And one of the great partners that's going to be integral to this library is St. Paul Youth Services. And it's my pleasure at this time to introduce the director of the St. Paul Youth Services, Tracy Asbury.
Well, I've been very fortunate to have my office at St. Paul Youth Services, which is right across the street. My window has faced the library, so I've literally watched the library be built. And it has been an amazing feat to come in today. I want to tell you, as executive director, it's easy to support libraries because as a 7th grader in Detroit, Michigan, I used to take the bus to the library to wait for my mom to get off from work. And in that library in Detroit, Michigan, I dreamed, I explored, and I asked questions. So I've always known that libraries and librarians have been safe places, places for transformation. Let me tell you some things when I talk about transformation, what Sunray has done and what the libraries have done. They offer tutoring and homework help, as we heard Mayor Coleman say. It's a safe and warm space where young people can congregate without needing to make a purchase. They know that adults are providing supervision, especially for homeless youth. This is a much safer space. Kids can learn about and connect with resources to meet their basic needs. I know this personally because I use the library in Detroit. Kids are often pushed out of spaces and have no place to go, but at our libraries in St. Paul, they always have a place. But to be transformative, libraries need to be welcoming to youth. And Sunray is an example of that. Years ago, St. Paul public libraries boldly recognized that they needed to change their mindset and their approach to build more trusting, positive relationships with young people. They partnered with St. Paul Youth Services right across the street to create an environment where young people not only felt welcomed, but were wanted. Staff had felt exasperated and unprepared to deal with young people when they acted out. By working with St. Paul Youth Services, library staff created more welcoming spaces and learned practical skills to positively connect with young people. The result is rather than call the police for security when situations escalate, they now intervene early and resolve conflicts peacefully. Isn't that a beautiful thing? St. Paul Public Libraries are a role model. They are a role model and we need others to follow their lead. It took leadership for St. Paul Public Library staff to reach out to us for help to better connect with youth. Our partnerships with the libraries began right here at Sunray, this branch that is now reopening today, an even more welcoming space for youth, and special areas and services created just for young people. And my 3-year-old is enjoying the space right now. We're thrilled to have this amazing resource right across the street and know it will be transformative for our kids. St. Paul Youth Services is proud to be a partner with St. Paul Public Libraries. Together, we're sharing what we learned with other libraries across the country. We need more libraries and community institutions to follow Sunray's lead. Together, we can create a community-wide culture that shows youth that they matter and that they can make mistakes and that we'll be here to support them. They need to hear the same message throughout their day and in all corners of their city. Thank you to every single person at Sunray for championing and connecting with our youth. Can we give them a round of applause again, please? And now I have the pleasure to introduce one of St. Paul Public Library's champions, Peter Pearson, President of Friends of the St. Paul Public Library.
Good afternoon. This is such a great renovation. So exciting to see the community embracing it like this. And it's made possible because of a partnership between the City of St. Paul and the Friends of the St. Paul Public Library. The Friends of the Library is a private nonprofit organization, and one of our roles is to raise private funds to help support the St. Paul Public Library. We know that in the City of St. Paul, there are so many needs for capital projects. And if we were going to wait until the city had 100% of the money needed to do this renovation, it might be another 5 years or more before that could happen. And we knew that the neighborhood couldn't wait that long for a renovated Sunray Library. So the Friends agreed to try to raise private funds to help that happen sooner. In addition to this library, there's another library on the other side of town. The Highland Park Library has a complete renovation going on, and its grand opening is going to be next weekend. And then we're doing a little bit of work at Central Library to make it a little bit more user-friendly also. So these three projects came together into one major campaign that costs $14.8 million. And of that, the city has put in $7 million for library bonding, and the Friends agreed to raise $7.8 million of private funding so that all three of these projects could happen. Well, I'm pleased to tell you that we've raised $6 million to date, which means we still have $1.8 million to raise. And so you're probably saying, well, how did the project happen if we don't have all the money in hand? Well, we can thank the City of St. Paul for that, who has made a cash flow loan to the projects so that they can happen up front. And the Friends then will continue its fundraising efforts to try to pay back that last one, not to try, to pay back that last $1.8 million. How would you like to be indebted to Mayor Coleman for $1.8 million? That's the spot I'm in right now, so we need your help, desperately. No, seriously, all contributions to this wonderful renovation project are appreciated, but I also want to let you know of a very special opportunity. When you came in the door, you probably noticed a beautiful donor wall as you came into the library, and that donor wall lists every person, foundation, and corporation that gave at least $1,000 to this wonderful renovation project. And it's not too late for you to have your name up there too. If you'd like to make a multi-year pledge of $1,000 or more that can be paid up over 5 years even, we would love to change that donor wall over the next couple of months and add your names to it. So we hope you'll be so excited about this project that you're going to want to do that. Tell your friends and neighbors about it. Every contribution helps. We hope to be able to finish off this campaign sometime next year, but we're so thrilled that the community didn't have to wait until we raised that last penny. So enjoy your new library. We're thrilled to be a part of this project. And I get to introduce Matt Templis. Matt is the 3M Global Business Manager. And as you know, 3M made a major contribution toward this library renovation. But more importantly, from my perspective, Matt is on the board of directors of the Friends of the St. Paul Public Library. So in a sense, he's one of my many bosses. So Matt Templis.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. They told me that you guys didn't come for the snacks. You actually came to hear me for the next hour speak about 3M and our partnership. No. So many of you may know 3M. Probably heard of it. It's a very well-known company in the area. What you may not know is 3M actually has a business working with libraries. Our business is to deliver and to help connect libraries to the community and to all of you. We do that through some of the self-service devices that you see around the library. We also do that through the 3M Cloud Library, which is a digital lending service that allows you to check out ebooks and, coming in December, audiobooks from the library. So if you don't have the app on your phone or on your smart device, please download it. And it's a great experience from that end. One of the great things about being the leader of the library business is I get to travel around the globe and visit libraries and see how they influence the communities they're in. One thing I've learned in that process is how vital the St. Paul Public Library is to this community, and how great, as Mayor Coleman said, how great the leadership of this library is. When Kit Hadley joined the St. Paul Public Library, she reached out to 3M and reached out to me to create a very special partnership. And that partnership has helped us develop products that make more sense for librarians and for the community. Hopefully it's also helped create some great opportunities for renovation and for investment from the community and 3M in this great opportunity. So I want to thank everybody for everything that you've been able to do, and appreciate everything from everyone. So thank you.